Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Ball with C and E. I'm E, that's C. Luka Doncic is a Laker.
Crazy trade, man.
Insane trade that just happened last night. What we were planning on doing today or yesterday was we were going to just do a straight MLB. But we can't just speed by this. This might be the biggest trade in NBA history. Luka Doncic and Maxi Kleber for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first round pick. Absolutely just completely shaking up the NBA. This is insane stuff right here. I don't know why this trade ever happened. It should have never happened. You have Luka Doncic, who is the franchise player for the Mavericks. Franchise player. Yeah, they said something about his conditioning issues, which is just a load of bullshit in my opinion. I think someone in the Mavs just had something against him. I don't know. Cuz you can't trade your franchise player like that for a guy who's 30 plus years old at this point. Anthony Davis is on the latter half of his career. He's injury prone. I don't see the point of this trade for either side, actually, because the Lakers also are just it's just pointless for them too, because they have no defense.
I agree with everything you just said. I mean, I think it definitely caught both of us off guard. I mean, we were playing the show last night, and we found out together.
We were playing the show last night, and my roommate comes knocking on my door, and he goes, "Guess who just got traded?" I was like, "Who?" I was like, "There's no way this would be that crazy." He goes, "Luka Doncic is a Laker." I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "You gotta be lying, bro. You have to be fucking lying."
Yeah, absolutely insane. And then I don't know if you've seen the videos. AD got blindsided by it. He had no idea.
Dude, LeBron didn't know. Luka didn't know. AD didn't know.
Yeah,
the entire NBA had no idea except for the two general managers.
Mm-hmm. And did you see the video of AD getting interviewed, and they were talking about his future and what his time left for the team. He's like, "You're saying that my time's almost up," and then some guy in the back was like, "Check your phone." Seriously.
I didn't see that.
100%.
I did not see that.
Yeah,
that's
totally
crazy.
Yeah, they were interviewing him, asking about where he sees himself with this team in the near future, and he was like, "You're saying that I'm almost done here," and then the guy was they started "Oh no," and then one guy in the back was like, "Check your phone." But
that's crazy.
Yeah, totally
bro.
blindsided him. Kind of just.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Very interesting,
dude. Luka. So here's the thing, right? So now what this brings is the starting lineups for both teams. Right now, you look at starting lineups. It makes more sense for the Mavericks. But what happens in 2 to 3 years, right? What happens in 2 to 3 years? Does Anthony Davis still play at this high level? We know Luka's still going to be playing at this high level in 2 to 3 years. We have no idea what the hell is going to happen with Anthony Davis in 2, 3, 4 years. We don't know what's going to happen. Luka's going to be the new new star of the franchise for the Lakers now. Mm-hmm. Especially with LeBron pretty much on his way out. I mean, he's probably got max 3 years left, I would say, at this point. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Both sides, it doesn't make sense for either side to do this at this point. The Mavericks GM said we're in win now mode and defense wins championships. But so that's your only good player. Obviously Kyrie's great. Kyrie's amazing. Can Kyrie be your best? Can AD and Kyrie be your 1-2 punch to make it to the finals? I just don't see that. Luka just literally a year ago takes them to the finals, takes the Mavericks to the finals, and let's get rid of them the year after. And what's even crazier about this is the Mavericks approached the Lakers offering Luka. I don't know if you heard that. That's what's insane. That's what's insane to me. Luka didn't request a trade. AD didn't request a trade. Literally, the Mavericks GM just approached Rob Pelinka. I think that's the GM's name of the Lakers, and he said, "Here, we want AD. We'll give you Luka for him." And how do you say no to that? You just can't. You got an immediate franchise player for at least 10 years now with Luka Doncic, even when LeBron retires. This makes no sense. I think the Mavs GM is going to really regret this later on.
I agree. I don't think it's going to play out like they want it to. I think
honestly, This could play out rough for both sides. I think within the first 2 to 3 years of this trade, this is going to play out rough for both sides. The Lakers aren't going to be, unless the Lakers go out and get a center like Miles Turner or something like that. They're not going to be competing for a title, in my opinion. I just don't think there's no defense. There's absolutely no defense on that roster now. Your starting center is Jackson Hayes. Like that is just horrible. Your only good center was AD, and then you just trade him. Yeah, you get Luka, but like as of right now, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
They didn't play to what they need. They still need a center at the end of the day, and
yeah.
All right, so time will tell.
Yeah. All right, so that concludes that. Like I said, this was not planned. We had no idea obviously we had no idea this was happening. We were gonna just run the MLB episode, like with just MLB, just first episode, but then that sparked everything, so we had to at least cover it a little bit. So now we're gonna go into the MLB segment, or we're gonna do the MLB segments today. So obviously the season hasn't started yet. I believe spring training is in about 2 to 3 weeks or so, something like that. That's when it starts. A lot of big stuff has happened this offseason with the Dodgers. There's a lot of big stuff happening with leagues outside of the MLB in the summer, at least for like Rays fans and such. I know you saw Junior Caminero go crazy in that. What is it? The Dominican
League. The Dominican League, definitely. Yeah, he did.
That was crazy. A lot of players have been playing in other places this offseason. Obviously the Dodgers are signing everyone. Obviously the Mets got Soto. It's been a crazy offseason for the MLB.
It's been an insane offseason, honestly.
It's been absolutely wild.
Best way to put it.
We're gonna try to highlight as much as possible. We pretty much kind of have what we're gonna do set in stone. So, but we're gonna start with this tier list. We're just gonna go one by one and just rank the teams as we think they're gonna play this season. All right. So, let's get into it. To start, I guess the Yankees. The Yankees are at the top. Coming off a World Series, you lose Soto. You sign Max Fried. You sign Cody Bellinger. Who else did they've signed a couple guys. I don't see this team falling off too much.
No, not at all.
Especially because, like, honestly, S tier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I could see that. So yeah, they're obviously World Series contenders. And I think just because being in the AL East also, honestly, if you really look at the AL East, it's kind of fallen off a little bit in the past couple seasons. I think they're going to do very well this year, especially with that. Now, the Mariners. Mariners are interesting. You got J-Rod, who did not play well last season. Cal Raleigh had a career year. You get Arozarena in the trade. I don't really know much about this team necessarily. Outside of that, I know they're stars, and they have a great pitching staff. They have one of the best pitching staffs in the league. I mean, I don't see them as a World Series contender, but they could definitely be a playoff push.
I feel like they had a little bit of an off year last year, especially with the talent that they seem to have. I mean,
I think J-Rod can have a back. He's going to have a bounce back. I think he's going to have a bounce back.
I 100% agree, because you look back at, J-Rod had a couple good years in a row, and then last year it just kind of fell off, didn't really do anything.
Well, what happened was last year he just lost his exit velo on his swing, and he lost his launch angle. A lot of anytime he would hit the ball hard, it would go flat. So it would be a single. And then if he wouldn't hit the ball hard, it just wasn't. It just wasn't anything. Like he would he lost his ability to make big plays with the bat, which is interesting.
Like you said, I mean, they've got a star on that team. They've got a couple. I mean, maybe Rosarena will develop into something a little bit more. He's obviously coming from the Rays. He was falling off pretty heavy with us, and who knows? I think they just kind of had an off year last year.
I could see this team being like a high B or low A. Like
I was in between.
We're not.
B and A.
We're a playoff team, but we're not going to do much in the playoffs. I think that's where I see this team There'll be a wild card. They could win the wild card, but if they get to the ALDS, they're not going to get past.
All right.
All
Start
right.
off early with the Rays.
I guess we are. Obviously, we know the most about this team. This team has had a weird offseason, to say the least. We had a hurricane come through the stadium, completely rip off the roof, which kind of set back a lot of stuff for the stadium plans. Because now what's happening is they're going to rebuild the Trop. Originally, they weren't going to rebuild the Trop. They were just going to play somewhere else for like 2 to 3 years until the new stadium was built. But then the whole situation with the stadium bonds they didn't get the funding then from Pinellas. It was all over the place.
It was a mess.
It was an absolute mess. And obviously the Rays were big sellers last year at the deadline. They got rid of they got rid of Eflin. They got rid of I guess Glasnow was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
They got rid of Eflin. They got rid of Randy. They got rid of
Siri.
Well, Siri was in the off season.
Oh, Siri.
But yeah, this team, it looks a lot different than you would never think that this team would be where they are right now after the way they started playing in 2023. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we know why they've had a big setback, but we're not going to bring that up. Yeah. But we move past him and we come into the new era, the Junior Caminero era. This guy is an absolute monster. We're talking about a guy who clutched up in that Dominican League World Series. I don't know what it's called, but he hit over 400 throughout the whole season, playoffs thing, whatever it was. He hit over 400. He won MVP of the World Series. He hit the go-ahead homer in Game 7. This dude he's just built with just baseball genes. Like, he just knows baseball.
I'm definitely excited to see him develop this season because he came in not super late into the year last year.
It was like August.
It was late enough. It was
like
late
August.
enough in the season that we didn't get to see him develop too much. The team was changing too. You had Morel and stuff come in. You had people go out. I mean, the starting lineup was changing every week for that team when he came in.
Oh, yeah.
And I think now that he's going to have some time to get settled and play with the team, I think the hard part for this team this year is going to be playing at Steinbrenner. It's going to be a smaller stadium. It's not like we fill up the stadium anyways, but it's going to be outside, and that's the big problem I see is it's going to be outside. It's going to be scorching hot. There's going to be a lot of games that are going to get canceled from rain.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough season. I think this team has talent to be a decent team, to be a B or an A tier team. I think there's going to be a lot of setbacks with just the morale of the team and everything that's gone on in the off season and where we're playing and all that. I think it's just uncontrollable, to be honest with you.
And here's the thing. I've heard some people say, like, oh, this Rays team, they could be a 100-win team. I just don't see it. You need a lot to go right for them to be a 100-win team. You need to have Yandy playing like he did in 2023. You need to have Brandon Lau playing at his absolute best. You have to have Caminero playing like an MVP. And then you have to have the pitching staff who there's a lot of guys coming off of injury, or at least a main one being Shane McClanahan coming off of Tommy John surgery, hasn't pitched in about a year and a half at this point. And who's to say that he's going to be just his 100%? He's going to be fully back to himself. Like, I just don't. Yeah. You just don't know. Like, if I had to rank this team, I honestly, I'm not going to say they're a bad team. I honestly could see us still being a C tier team. There's just not enough right now that tells me otherwise. Obviously, I trust Cash. I know there's going to be a lot of talent that will probably spark up randomly. And who knows? Maybe they do make a playoff push. You know, this is like I said, Kevin Cash is one of the best managers in the league. And if the pitching staff is healthy, they can make a playoff push. But I'm just gonna go comfortable C right now. I don't know if you agree with me.
I agree. I was gonna say at an absolute maximum this season, we're a low rank B tier team for me. I'm just gonna play it safe and say we're gonna be a C tier team. Maybe this will be like, a little bit of a developmental season. We'll definitely
I could see them going like a calm, like 83 and like 70 and like 78 or something like that, or like 83 and 79 or whatever
whatever the
thing
number is. They're just
Yeah.
saying, like an 85 to 90 win team, something like that, possibly.
Maybe even like I said, like maybe I'm thinking even more like 80 to 85.
80
like,
to
just,
85 win team.
Like yeah, they're a good. They're like a above average team. They're not gonna be terrible, but like they're just not enough to make the playoffs yet. Necessarily.
It's gonna be an interesting year.
All right, the Toronto Blue Jays. Now this is an interesting one. I don't really know what their offseason pickups were. I'm pretty sure they had a couple of them, but this was a team that wasn't the greatest last year. I just don't. I don't think. I know they didn't necessarily improve that much.
All right.
Word.
What's the time on that?
It was like 16 minutes.
All right, just remember that. You can cut it.
All right. Sorry about that. Little interruption, but we're back. Talking about the Toronto Blue Jays. Not a lot of upgrades in the offseason, I don't think. I'm pretty sure they're virtually the same team. I doubt they're going to make any noise this year.
Yeah.
I think Blue Jay fans probably know that.
I
don't know where you want to go with this.
I don't know either. They haven't really picked up anyone big enough, I don't think.
You know what? Add an F tier, because there's definitely a, huh?
I just said add an F tier.
Yeah.
Oh, add another tier.
You click the settings thing on the right, and then you click do a row below.
There we go.
Yeah, and then just make an F tier. Because like I think this Blue Jays team, you have Vlad. Like I don't know. I think you have Vlad. They have some studs there. I don't see them. They're probably not gonna be anything above a D, but I don't think they'll be like bottom of the barrel terrible team this year. I think they could be a D tier.
Okay.
Like they'll probably be fourth or third in the AL East. I don't think they'll be last. But I guess none of the teams in the AL East are like terrible, but they're not necessarily the greatest.
Not the best either, no.
Yeah. All right, the Marlins. They sold at the deadline again. They've set them back. They set themselves back again a lot. They're an F tier. They're not going to be good this year. It's as simple as that. They traded Jazz. They traded Tanner Scott. They traded everyone that they had anything decent with. They're just not going to be good this year.
All right. I'll take your word on that. I don't.
Well, they got the only thing that there was it was Kyle Stowers. They got from the Orioles, who's a really good prospect. But outside of that, like I'm sure they have a great farm system that I just don't know about. Yeah. They're just not going to be good this year, and it's not surprising. The Marlins haven't been good in a while. I mean, they had that 1 year where they made the playoffs, but Marlins. They traded Luis Arias away last year too. Like it's just like they just don't have anybody necessarily good.
Cards.
The Cardinals. Ugh, this one's interesting. They weren't that great last year. They have Mason Wynn. You have Paul Goldschmidt. Do they still have Paul Goldschmidt? I have no idea if he left or not yet. There's been so many talks about him leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is an old core at this point. That's just completely out of their prime. Like, it's as simple as that. I know they have some decent pitching. I think I think Sonny Gray's on that team. I don't fully know, to be quite honest with you. I just don't know too much about this roster. I can't see them being above a D, or a C. I don't know.
I think they're much better off with the other birds right there.
Yeah,
Be completely honest with you.
The Houston Astros, the newest acquirement, Isaac Paredes. That's what happened this offseason. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew that. They acquired him from the Cubs. They traded Kyle Tucker for him.
I did.
So this team will be interesting. They still have Altuve. They still have some great pitching with Christian Javier. They have what is his name? I think Hunter Brown. They have I think Josh Hader's still there. I know they have a great pitching staff. Probably some question marks throughout the lineup hitting now that Tucker's not there. Obviously, you still have Jordan. But what's interesting about this team is former Ray, Isak Praise, like we mentioned before, he's playing with the Crawford boxes now in that left field, that short left field at Astro Stadium.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to be interesting is how much that adds to his game while they're playing at Minute Maid.
Yeah, because he's a pole.
He is. He hasn't. Still don't think he's ever hit any homer to center field or right field, which is just insane. Which is just insane. And I know he has like over 50 career homers at this point, like 50 or 75 career homers. So it's like you add that to this offense that just that's a plus, man. That's crazy. They knew what they were doing. I think they definitely knew what they were doing by trading for him because you're gonna play the majority of your games at home. Mm-hmm. And that's just going to add probably going to add at least 5 to 10 homers to his total, I think, this upcoming season. And that's why he was so good on the Rays is because that left field was just as short. Except now you just pull it in even further. It's like
even more. Yeah.
Yeah, the Crawford boxes probably spark some of the most unicorn home runs in the league, I would say. Like it's only a homer in
he could be in
that stadium.
He could definitely be a big hitter this season.
I could see the Astros being a B tier team this year. I really could.
B-tier. I was going to put him.
I really could.
I can agree with that for sure.
The Atlanta Braves. Ozuna from the Braves.
Ozuna from the Braves.
It's as simple as this. They're getting healthy again. They lost Max Fried this year. I know that, obviously. They're getting Strider. So last year, this team was really good. Going into the season, everybody knew like they were coming off of Acuna's crazy MVP year, 40-70, like just absolutely insane year for them. And then they come into the season, Strider goes down, Acuna goes down, Albies is hurt all season. They were just flooded with injuries throughout the season, like
100%.
And now I believe they signed Jurickson Profar, which is a really good signing for them too. Mm-hmm. So now, even Austin Riley was hurt last year a bunch too. So I think this team, if they stay healthy this year, I can't see them being anything below an A. Like honestly, we know how good the Braves are. Definitely. Like if Ozuna's playing, Ozuna was great last year, and it just resulted to nothing just because of how injured the rest of the team was. Like Ozuna was at one point in the year, Ozuna was in MVP talks, but he was a DH, so he's never going to win it because you don't have the defensive aspect. Well, I guess Ohtani did it, but when you go 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Now everyone's healthy again this year. I think they're at least an A tier at this point.
I agree. Yeah, that's where they belong, is the A tier.
Orioles.
Like you said it right. The injuries. No, you're good. It's just the injuries definitely set them back heavily last season, and it just
absolutely.
It was definitely sad to watch because
like they were playing with Whit Merrifield last year. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. All right, the Orioles.
The Orioles, interesting team, have choked back-to-back seasons in the playoffs. They've gotten swept twice in the playoffs, I believe. Yeah, they got swept by the Rangers the 2 years ago, and then this past season they got swept by the Royals. Or did they get swept
by the Royals?
I don't remember. Did they get swept last year? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I know they lost in the wild card last year. They lost in the wild card last year to the Royals. But if we're basing this off of regular season, A tier. Like
normal. I mean, they make it to the playoffs. They've got a young team. They've got a good farm system going, and they bring in up
Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Heston Kjerstad, Felix Bautista's coming back. I can't even think of they did lose Corbin Burns, I believe. I forget where Corbin Burns went. Cedric Mullins didn't even play that well last year, and they still did good. they're just producing talent left, right, and center.
Eflin might get a little bit more comfortable with a little bit more time too. And
Totally forgot about
now.
that. We traded him there. But yeah, this is an A tier team at least.
For sure.
They could definitely be an S tier depending on what happens. I could see them. They could be a 100-win team. Yeah, like
simple as that. Honestly.
Yeah. So what we're gonna go off of. We probably should have thought about this, but we should probably set like what these tiers mean at this point. Like S tier, World Series contenders, 100-win teams possible. A tier, probably 90 to 95 wins, or like 95 to 99. B tier is about like anywhere from 85 to 90. C, 80 to 85, and then D is like 60 or is like 70 to 75, and then F is just like anything below that at that point.
Okay.
I think that's kind of what we'll base that off of at this point. So yeah,
I can just do this.
100, 100 plus. We probably should have thought about this
plus.
beforehand. Yeah. 80 plus.
70.
Well, not 70 plus. No. Do 90. Do 95 plus, and then do 90 plus, and then do 80 plus, and then 70 plus, and then 60 plus.
Yeah, so we're moving down a little quick here.
Yeah. And then just do like 60, not 60 plus, because these teams could lose even more than that.
Let's do like 69, and then there we go. All right. I was tabbed out. I couldn't see it, but I was doing that.
All right.
Anyways,
The
continuation.
Cleveland Guardians. Sorry. I forgot. Okay, I thought that was going to land. I'm not going to lie. That was just not that funny.
I thought you were serious. I thought you were serious.
No.
That's why I
Cleveland
didn't land.
Guardians. This is a team that made the ALCS last year, lost to the Yankees. Great team in the regular season, one of the best teams in the regular season. They play in a horrible they don't play in the greatest division. Actually, I take that back. The Central was really good last year because of the Tigers and because of the Royals. I forgot about that. That was a great division last year, now that I remember. They lost Josh Naylor, I believe, which is not great for them. Did they trade him? I don't remember. I have no idea if they did or not.
Did they trade Josh Naylor? I gotta look this up.
I don't know if
swear
they
I thought they still had him.
No, he
No,
left.
no, they definitely traded him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they traded him or he walked in free agency. I don't remember. Does it say what team he's on now?
Yanks? Really?
No, Diamondbacks. That's what it was. Diamondbacks. I remember that.
Oh, this
I
is
do
just
remember that.
my bad. I clicked on the wrong thing and it said it was he almost went to the
Diamondbacks.
Yanks.
I don't remember if he got traded or if they signed him. But it doesn't matter. Either way, they lost Josh Naylor, which definitely hurts. He was a 100 RBI guy last year, I believe.
He was definitely very good for them.
But you still have Steven Kwan. You still have one of the best players in the league, Jose Ramirez. Still got an unbelievable pitching staff with that bullpen. That bullpen is crazy with Griffin Jacks, Emmanuel Clase. Obviously, Clase had a bad postseason, but we move on. Who cares? He's still Emmanuel Clase. He's probably going to be fine. You have Joenski Noel, who broke out in the
Christmas
playoffs. Had some
miracle in
clutch.
the playoffs.
Kind of had his moment in the playoffs. He was good last year. He just wasn't in the lineup that much. This is definitely a 90+ win. I think we're on the verge of a 95 maybe, but we'll stick with 90 for now just to be safe. We'll be safe. Colorado Rockies. I mean, they're terrible. They're just not good. They're just not good at this point.
Moving on.
Yeah. Detroit Tigers. I keep forgetting. This team was amazing last year. The Gritty Tigs.
The Gritty
Do you remember
Tigs.
the Gritty Tigs?
I do not remember the Gritty Tigs, no.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
They made the playoffs last year, bro. That was crazy.
I know, but I never heard that, whatever you were talking about.
You never heard Gritty Tigs?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, never, not once in my life.
Flame him in the comments, bro. Bro doesn't know about the Gritty Tigs. That's crazy.
I don't know.
So we got Parker Meadows, beast. Tariq Schoolball, just won Cy Young. Who else am I? Riley Green, beast. That team is young, and they're just gonna get better. Like it's just like it's as simple as that. They're young, they're gonna get better. They're definitely 80 plus. I think we should just throw it out there. I think this is a 90-win team. I think it's a 90-win team.
I don't exactly disagree with you on that one.
I think it's a 90-win team. We're talking about a team that was nowhere near expected to what they did last year, and I think they're just going to improve off of it. I really do. I just think they're just going to get better and better.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we're looking at possible, division winner, between Cleveland, Detroit, and obviously KC. That's going to be a three-man race at that point with those teams. That's going to be pretty insane.
100%.
KC, I want to say 90 wins, but it's tough to get three teams with 90 wins in the same division.
Yeah.
But it's possible. It is possible. So I think for now we'll get a hot take, I guess, kind of hot take. I think KC could finish third in that division this year, possibly. But also, I think even we'll predict the Guardians are 90 win. We'll predict the Tigers are 90 win. Realistically, with depending on how these three teams play, insane. Either any of these three teams could finish third, I think. Just because of how good. They're just going to beat up on each other.
I think that the three of those is going to be completely interchangeable in that division, for sure.
You're just going to beat up on each other, and I think their head-to-head matchups are just going to come down to who finished first, who finished second, who finished third at the end of the day. I really think that's what it's going to come down to. These are, just three beasts of a team that are just all in the same division. It's kind of like how the AL East was a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years ago, where every team was amazing. So yeah, I think we'll say KC 80 plus for now. Obviously on the higher end of that 80 plus, 85 to 80, 89 wins.
Yeah.
But definitely. they could definitely be higher than that. There's no question about it. There's definitely a possibility for that.
Big time.
Brewers. So the Brewers play with the Pirates. Who else? So they play with the Pirates, the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Reds. I mean, just keep listing those teams. That's not great.
No.
It's not a crazy division.
Honestly, not at all.
I mean,
they were good last year. They were pretty decent.
They made the playoffs last year. They did make the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
90?
Brewskis,
I feel like they're always good.
Brewskis take a little 90 win.
I think 90
season.
I don't think that's
Sneak into
crazy.
the playoffs again. Maybe.
I don't think that's crazy.
No, I don't think it's crazy either.
I mean, they're just always a solid team. That's the thing. They're always a good team.
It's pretty mid-level.
It's kind of like with the same thing with the Royals. It's they could be worse. They could be better. They could be 90 win or they could be 80 win. Who knows? It's just a team that's always on the edge.
We can.
All right. Two quick fires.
I was going to say, we could rapid fire really quick.
Angels, below 69.
Yeah. These teams are both.
Oakland, nope, 70.
You think Oakland's over 70?
They made some moves this year that they're at least trying. I don't know. They have Jeffrey Springs now. I don't know if you knew that.
I feel like I saw it. It didn't really register.
The Rays traded them Jeffrey Springs, and then they signed, I believe, Luis Severino as well. So they're trying to do something with that team. So I think a couple of those signings could result. Again, not going to be great, but they're going to be. And they were low key not terrible at the end of the season last year.
They weren't.
Lawrence Butler's good. Brent Rooker's good. I don't know what the hell the situation is with Estuary Ruiz. I remember when he got demoted last year for no reason. I don't know if you remember that when he was like the.
I just remember everything that was going up with the team playing its last season, and then there was the announcer and Brent Rooker, and it was kind of an interesting stretch for the A's. I feel like they were more of a viral team than they were an actual team being followed. To be honest with you, it's kind of like a weird thing to say. They were like the viral team of the year when it came to playing their final season at home, having the worst announcer in the entirety of MLB.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about her. She was so
like,
bad.
all of that. They were just I was constantly seeing stuff about them, but it was just nothing like really baseball related. It was just memes and such. But
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get something. They're trying to get some sort of foundation before they move to Las Vegas officially. They're going to be in Sacramento this year.
Yeah.
It's just like at this point, it's like I think, like I said, the few of those signings will probably push them from a 60-win to a 70-win team. Like, that's kind of where we're at. Like, I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
I think they could, I was just going to throw them in the low because they've got a lot that has happened, a lot going. It's definitely close. They could end up below that 69 margin, I think, but they could also end up above the 70, I think, as well. It's going to be close to that.
Philadelphia Phillies. They didn't
I
make
think
any
it's
moves.
hard
They really
to
didn't
say
make moves.
that
They
they're
lost
gonna
Austin
be...
Hayes. I know that. They lost Austin Hayes. I forget where he went.
I think it's hard to say that they're anything less than 100-win, if not close to an 100-win team.
I wouldn't say 100. I think possibly with the Braves getting healthy, like those teams are going to battle, which will end up hurting their records. So I'd put the Phillies in 95.
In the 95?
I mean, we know what the Phillies are at this point. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
Pirates, quick fire, 80. Like, just as I would say, like 80. They're not going to be terrible, but they're going to miss the playoffs. They do it every year.
San Diego
Padres lose Tanner Scott to the Dodgers. Still have Luis Ariz. You still have Fernando Tatis. You lose Jurickson Profar, which is a big loss.
Yeah.
You lose Blake Snell, another big loss. Oh wait, Blake Snell was on the Giants last year. What the hell am I talking about? They're not gonna be bad. I don't think so.
I don't see him
be
going
bad.
anything above 90. I think we put him here in
Really?
this margin. This is what I see. I think they're high 80s. Like,
Hands off the tables. I'll have
87,
hands off the
88.
table. I'll let you go for it.
I'm seeing high 80s. I don't think they're breaking that 90, but I think what were you thinking? You thinking?
I was gonna say 90. I was gonna say 90. Yeah.
Low 90s, Lou?
Well, I mean, technically it would be low 90s at that point.
Well, yeah, because it's 90, 95. But I don't think they break the 90. I think they get close. They don't break the 90, though.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna. I'll let you take that one because I don't. They do have some question marks that they do need to
a
fill.
lot of question marks.
Losing
it's gonna hurt them a little bit.
They did lose, like they lost some good guys in the bullpen, and that they lost Tanner Scott and you lose Jurickson Profar. Those are two major guys, especially Jurickson Profar, who was amazing for them last year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're losing a pretty big bat at that point, but they're still gonna be good. You still have Tatis.
I think they barely broke 90 wins last season, and
they had like 91. I think they had 91.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I think they lost some people. I think it's gonna be a little bit tougher for them to hit that 90. I don't think they're going to hit it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
The Texas Rangers. This was an interesting team last year. I do need to look up the record. I know it wasn't great.
It was pretty bad coming off of
a
World Series.
I know it wasn't amazing. Where are the standings? Their final record was 78 and 84. I'm going to go 80. I'm going to go 80 wins. I think this team, they have talent. And Adolis Garcia just had a rough year last year. And I think they just had a hangover, low-key, kind of from just like winning the World Series. I think maybe they just kind of, they hit their stride at the right time. And then they got to the World Series. They won the World Series. And then it just kind of like slowly they just kind of faded off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think they'll bounce back. They have too much talent to not be like at least an 80-win team. But we'll go 80 just because, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because like they did have the down year, so you got to let it let it soak. You got to let it like simmer a little bit. Just let it go on.
They came off of a World Series. They had a pretty rough year for,
Yeah.
winning.
Their pitching, I think, took a big hit. I'll say this year, you finally get DeGrom. They finally will get DeGrom. Who knows for how many games? I don't know if his arm will hold up. He's been through so much injuries at this point, but if DeGrom is half of what he used to be, that's going to be a great pitcher to have. They don't have Scherzer anymore. Scherzer's somewhere else. I forget where he went. You still have Adolis Garcia.
I feel like he just got signed. Where did he go? Oh my god. I can't stop yawning.
Oh, shit. Max Scherzer is a Blue Jay. Forgot about that, but I do remember that now.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't change my outlook on the Blue Jays, though. Just so we're clear. I feel like that's kind of pointless. Oh! No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, I think the Rangers, they'll be pretty solid this year. Red Sox. This could be a sneaky good team.
I was gonna say, I think we could fly through the next three pretty simply. You think the Red Sox are a little bit better though?
I think they could be. They got Garrett Crochet. I know that they've signed some good players this season. I feel like they've traded and signed for some decent players this year. I really think so.
They finished 81-81 last season. So right at that 80 cusp.
You know what? We'll throw them an 80 for now, just because. We'll throw them at 80 for now.
Okay.
Just because. Yeah. Giants 70. They are the epitome of just
I wouldn't have done that.
That's
simple,
fine. It's as simple as
easy.
that. And you know what? Throw the Mets up there too, just while we're at it. I think just throw the Mets up there while we're at it. Those three teams.
All right.
I really think so. I really do think so. They signed some great players. They signed the biggest free agent of the offseason, obviously being Juan Soto. I think that just adds a lot to that team that was already good. They made the they made the NLCS last year. Come on. And you just add Soto to this team, they're going to be good. They're going to be good, and I think they're going to have a great season. So I think the Yankees... Now, I think that's where it ends. Yankees, Dodgers, and Mets are the three teams that I think are the best three teams in the league at this point. I really think so. And the only team that I could see maybe touching that is the Braves, because if the Braves get healthy again, they're just going to be as good.
Yeah, they could easily bump over that 100-win range. 95 is just kind of a safe spot for them because after last season, you had no idea. But
all right, Diamondbacks. I'm gonna go 80. I don't know about you. I'm gonna go 80.
I don't know. I really don't know much about the team. I know, once again,
they signed Josh Naylor. You have Corbin Carroll. You have Ketel Marte. You got some great pitchers. You got a pretty solid bullpen. I know that. Jock Peterson had a great season last year. They just missed the playoffs after making the World Series. They were very close. I know they were. I think they were like 86 or 87 win team last year. Again, a lot of talent on this team. I think they could they're definitely going to be an 80 win team, but we'll keep it at 80 for now just in case.
Okay.
White Sox.
This is a fun one. Do you think they improve enough to bump into the 70 range, or do you think they stay below 70?
The White Sox?
Yeah. Do you think?
What about the White Sox has improved?
I don't know. I'm just asking. I was asking a question.
They should be. They should be in the 30 win team, bro.
Okay.
They are going to be horrible this year.
I wasn't backing that. I don't think they're anywhere near that. I was going to see if you maybe thought that they were going to. They shouldn't.
You know what? You should add a tier, be the White Sox tier, because they should just be on their own tier. They are a disgrace of a franchise right now. Oh, you went above.
Oh man, I went above.
That's fine. White Sox. It's as simple as that. And I think a lot of people will agree with this. They are horrible. You lose Garrett Crochet. That was your only saving grace of last season. Was Garrett Crochet was just Garrett Crochet was the only good part of your team last year, and you trade him. That team is horrible. They were one of the worst teams in MLB history last year, and they didn't get any better. If anything, they got worse. So they have their own tier.
I had no intention of saying that they were going to beat that 70 win. I wanted to see if maybe you would bite on that.
No, there is nothing that says the White Sox have improved even a slight bit.
I thought I'd
What
try
was their
to see.
record last year officially? I forget what the official record was last year.
I don't even remember, man. What did they touch 30?
They were 41 and 121. That's right. They lost the most games in MLB history last year.
41.
And they lose Garrett Crochet, the only saving grace of that team. The team is going to be terrible this year.
All right.
All right, the Twins. Royce Lewis, if he stays healthy. Byron Buxton. You got a great bullpen with Yohan Duran. What was their record?
Yeah, let's see. What did they finish last season?
Twins record. They were 82 and 80. They missed the playoffs, obviously, at that record. You can be close. Again, another team constantly good, not ever great. So 80 wins for sure. The Cubbies. You lose Paredes, you sign Tucker. What does that roster look like now? Cubs roster. Active roster for the Cubs. Let's see. Your rotation is Imanaga, Justin Steele, Jameson Taillon. Justin Steele's a beast. Their bullpen, they got some people in there. Oh my God, they have the GOAT, Vidal Brujan. That's their starting third baseman right now.
Vidal Brujan is their starting third.
What in the world? All right, well, their outfield is amazing with Ian Happ, Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, and then their DH is Seiya Suzuki. I think they're gonna have a pretty decent year hitting, possibly. I don't know what they have Imanaga, who's great. They had Justin Steele, who had a career year last year. Up throw them an 80. There's probably gonna be a lot of average teams this year, and then I think this might be a year where like there's a lot of the top teams like completely separate themselves from like
Big time.
the mid teams.
Nats and Reds.
The Nationals. I mean, what did they finish last year? I know they kind of finished decent last year. I'm pretty sure. Nationals record.
You still got our boy Harold.
Finished probably. They finished 71 and 91. I don't think they have a young core. I don't see them declining at all. Yeah, 70. But we'll go on the high 70s, like 78, 79 wins.
Okay.
Like they got James Wood, who is the number one prospect that's at one point. Dylan Cruz, who's going to be playing mostly this year. I don't know what their rotation necessarily looks like. I know they have a decent rotation. I think Luis Garcia is a great guy. He's a great second baseman as well. So yeah, that team, they're definitely not gonna decline. It's as simple as that. They're gonna gradually improve over time, I think.
And
Reds, last team.
Reds. I'm throwing them in the 70s again.
You think?
Yeah, then they're gonna be right there neck and neck with the Nats. To be honest,
You don't think LA could have a MVP year?
I don't know. I feel like they're kind of just
You know what? That's fine. That would just keep them there. That's
high
cool.
70s, possibly low 80s.
That works for now.
All right.
Well, that is our tier list. Let us know what you think. This was kind of off the dome. We haven't done too much deep dive into this. The only ones that we like truly know is kind of like the AL East and then the Rays, because like that's where we follow a lot. Mm-hmm. And then I know the Phillies because I kind of follow the Phillies. But the Phillies didn't really make any changes this year, so that we weren't gonna go too much into that either. So yeah, let us know what you think about this. I think it's interesting. Like KC being in the 80 wins. You never know. Detroit being a 90 win, Seattle being a 90 win. This is kind of a little bit of hot takes for sure.
There's a little thrown around here. There's some of this stuff makes a lot of sense. Some of it doesn't. Some of it could. Whatever. I think the Mets being 100 plus is kind of up there. For some people might very heavily disagree with that. I don't know. Definitely give us thoughts on what you think we are wrong about, what you think we're right about as well. I wouldn't mind that either.
All right, next segment. We're going to just swiftly move into the next segment. Hot takes. I have one hot take. Maybe, I mean, it's kind of hard to make a team hot take for me, because of what we just did with this. I know you have a good one. We'll go no screen at this point. We'll just go no screen share. We'll just straight up talk now.
Okay.
So I'll start because I don't think I think this will be a biased one. It is biased, I'll tell you that. But I believe that at some point throughout the year, Junior Caminero will be in MVP talks. I really believe it. I think this kid has he's had a full off season. He was already a beast. He had so many hard hits last season. Broke out against the Dodgers. He played absolutely crazy this offseason in the Dominican League. I think he loves baseball. He wants to be amazing at baseball. Like, that's all he wants to do, is just be amazing at baseball. And I genuinely think he's going to be an amazing player this year. I think we could see a guy that hits 280 and has 30 homers this year, possibly 100 RBIs. Like, a full season of this kid is going to be absolutely crazy.
I'd be more than happy to see that, as Rays
I don't know
fans.
if that is a hot take or not. I don't know if that is, at least in the Rays community, I don't know if it is.
I think the Rays community is honestly just hoping something like this happens, because he's been what we waited on all season last year. We finally got him. It's not like he was disappointing. He just didn't have enough time to develop. He was hitting the ball. He was hitting the
super
ball
hard.
Super hard. It just wasn't getting the launch angle he wanted. He was hitting line drives to the outfield at 105, 106. It was unreal, dude. Insane. It's just, you gotta hit, I think you need some time to get comfortable. It wasn't
What was his stats? What was his official stats last year? Because we'll pull it up. This kid last year was pretty wild for how much time he had. Here, I'll put it on the screen. So we're looking at a guy that is 248, 6 homers, 18 RBIs. How many games did he pitch? 43 games. In 43 games, with a 724 OPS, and the only reason why it's not higher is his on base percentage wasn't that high. Look at that, 412 slug. That's pretty good for a fresh rookie from the AAA. Now, obviously, this kid he should have been up way sooner, 100% should have been up way sooner than he was. You look at his hits though. We're looking at 41 hits, and of those 41 hits, 6 homers, 1 triple, and 9 doubles. Almost half of his hits were extra base hits. This kid just hits the ball hard, and he's just going to be an absolute superstar.
I mean, you can see it right there. They're playing the video from his home run.
Oh, the Lidum or whatever. That's what it was. That's what it's called.
And he's just, the whole time he's rolling around the bases, he's just ecstatic, hyped up. He's flipping out. I mean, he just hit a very clutch
56
home run,
seconds.
But yeah,
that's how long it took him to run the bases.
I know, it took him forever. I mean, I got a little distracted watching that again, but it's just, he loves baseball.
Insane, bro. Insane. The kid's amazing. I can't wait to watch him for a full season.
I can't wait either.
Please don't pull a Wander Franco. Please.
Please don't. Please don't.
Please. It doesn't even have to, we're not saying that, it's gonna be that. We're not saying it's gonna be like that, but just don't do anything stupid, please. For the love of God, we have PTSD from that loser, that absolute loser, disgusting human being.
Yep. He was supposed to be great, man. He let us all down. All right.
Now your hot take, which will be interesting because this will lead right into another segment that
this will lead into the other segment. Okay. before, and I know I told this to you earlier, before I really say this, it has changed for me a little bit because of the offseason. I've been thinking this since right after the offseason, or since
Stand
right
on
after
business,
the World
bro.
Series. Oh,
Just
I am
stand
standing
on it.
business.
Just stand on it.
Let me
Stand
develop.
your ground. Say it.
Let me develop what I'm trying to say, because I was 1,000% standing on this until the Dodgers offseason. Now I'm a little bit lower down, but I'm still going to stand on it. I think the Mets are going to the World Series over the Dodgers. I think they're meeting in the
There it
championship
is.
series. I think
And I don't
the Mets,
disagree with this. I really don't think
I
this
think
is a
the Mets
wild
are-
take.
Yeah, I think the Mets are going to beat them in the championship series, and they're going to the World Series.
This could be interesting.
that.
Could I could see it. I could 100% see it. It's not completely far-fetched. You have a team that made the ALCS last year, and you add probably the best bat, one of the best bats, or if not the best bat in the league, in Juan Soto. I mean, if they're pitching, they did lose Luis Severino, who was one of their better pitchers throughout the season last year, but they're gonna get Kodai Senga back, who, if he plays good, that's gonna be great for them. Hopefully, Edwin Diaz comes back to form. I don't know. I don't think it's completely far fetched. I do still think the Dodgers are gonna win the whole thing. I can't not say the Dodgers, but I would absolutely love to see the Mets take the whole thing. I really think so.
I don't think you're wrong. I think it's just as simple as that. I think the Mets are.
It is definitely a hot take because I think everyone is on the Dodgers at this point. But
Yeah.
I think less of a hot take would be like the Dodgers don't win the World Series and they make the World Series. I think this is a great
I think if
hot
they
take.
make the World Series, I think if they make it, they're gonna win it.
But no, but this is a great hot take in my opinion. I think this is a good hot take for sure. It's not super hot, but it's still like no one's thinking this. I don't think.
And I think the cool part about that is there was the hope for the Subway Series in the World Series this
Could it happen again?
year. I think it could happen again. Honestly,
Could it happen again? It's possible.
What are we looking at the other? Okay, so we can branch this directly into our next segment.
We're
which
gonna
is
go
just
World
be
Series
World
predictions
Series
now.
predictions. I'm just gonna go straight up and say it because
The Tampa Bay Rays are gonna. No, I'm just kidding.
the championship. I think the championship series we're gonna see is gonna be Mets Dodgers. I want to see the
Okay.
Mets go,
right.
and then we're gonna see.
Well, no. Yeah, you have the Mets. You don't want the Mets. You have the Mets.
Okay, that's what I mean. Is I have the Mets.
You have
and then you got the Yanks and
Yep.
who are we looking at for favors over here? I'm kind of.
Here's the thing. So in the AL, you know what? I'm gonna pull this up. I'll pull up. I'll pull this up. We'll pull up the 2024 standings. I'll pull it up for you just in case.
Okay.
So like last year, the best teams were the Astros, the Guardians, the Yanks. The Royals were really good. The Tigers were really good. The Orioles still. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna call my shot. Tigers make the ALCS.
Okay.
I think the Tigers versus the Yankees in the ALCS. I do think the Yankees still get by. Unfortunately, I think you know what? No. Screw the Yanks. I'm not doing that again. We're not going to have the same World Series back to back. I just don't. That's so rare. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll have the Tigers in the ALCS, and I'll go with. You know what? I'll go with the Astros. I'll go with the Tigers, and I'll go with the Astros in the ALCS. Screw it. You never. I'm going to call my shot. I'll just throw it out there for now. And then Dodgers and obviously I think the Dodgers and the Mets are going to be in the NLCS. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. I do think the Dodgers are going to make the World Series, and I think
You don't even have the Yanks. Making
Tigers
all the way.
World Series. They're not going to win, but they're going to make the World Series.
You don't even have the Yanks in the championship game.
No, they're going to fold. They're going to fold. They got Aaron Boone. They're going to fold.
In the ALCS.
They're going to be great. They're going to be great. But they're going to fold.
I was going to say is I think the Yanks kind of just cruise their way to the ALCS. I don't 100% disagree with the Tigers. I don't disagree with the Astros there either.
I'm calling my shot. I'm going Tigers to the World Series.
Tigers to the World Series.
Now, I do again, like I said, Dodgers are gonna win it. But
I think at the end of the day we get a Subway Series this year.
that would be exciting.
That'd be very
That would
cool.
be exciting.
I think we're gonna get it this year.
I am just praying we do not get another Dodgers versus Yankees World
Yanks.
Series.
I hope we don't get Dodgers Yanks again, honestly. But I mean, I don't want to see the Yankees go anyways. I just think I think it'd be kind of cool to have a Subway Series. I think it'd be. I think it's very, very, very. It can happen, definitely.
You know what? So we'll add on to this. We'll go on a little further to this. Who do you think will win each division?
Each division.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna start right here with the AL East and just move down.
Yes, we'll start here with the AL East.
Okay. I think the Yanks are gonna win the AL East. I think that's pretty simple.
I agree with you.
I think the Orioles are going to be close, just like last year. I just don't think the Orioles are going to do anything.
They'll be fighting. American League.
Yeah, like we said, we're going to have the Guardians, the Royals, and the Tigers fighting all year. It's going to be absolutely
crazy.
Insane. I don't know who's going to win it. I know you think the Tigers are probably going to win it.
You never know though. Like it could
know?
be. I could see the Tigers getting in as a wild card, getting hot, and then getting to the World Series, like kind of what the Diamondbacks did a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'll stick with the Guardians winning, and the runner up will be the Tigers. I'll say that. I think that can happen in the regular season. I think overall maybe. I think for the Guardians in long term, like a full season, I think they're built for that. I do see the Tigers though making the playoffs, going on a run, getting to the World Series. Now this is obviously still very early. We have seen absolutely nothing from any team.
Not even spring training, dude.
Exactly. So this will just be way too early. Way too early. Like I'll throw out my shot though. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If the Tigers suck. Somehow, they suck. And then down here,
I think we see the Mariners possibly win the AL West this year.
I'm not going to go with anything else other than the Astros. The Astros have won it for so long.
I know.
I'm still going to go with it.
It's going to be close. I think the Mariners might.
It'll be close. It'll be exactly this. I think this order's perfect of what's going to happen in the world in the regular season. I think that the exact order is going to happen again.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, and then.
NL. This one's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Because you got this absolute craziness.
Yeah, that's
craziness.
Great.
I'm now just realizing that our tier list makes no sense because we had Phillies, Mets, and Braves all at 95 plus. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen.
We had the Mets at 100 plus. We had
I know. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, we might have to switch that.
Whatever. It is what it is at this point.
It is what it is. But you kind of get what we're saying. We think the Mets are going to be. I think the Mets are going to be. They're going to win the division.
Agreed.
And then I'll go runner up. I'll go Braves.
Wow, you think the Phillies are third in the division?
But they could still make they'll still make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I think it'll be the same as that. It's just going to be a different order. You'll see.
Hey, man. I wouldn't be shocked if the thing is this one's more up in the air than the AL Central in my opinion.
Yeah,
because with the Braves getting healthy now, you got three demon teams all in the same division, like top potentially World Series contenders.
1,000%.
Like in the same division, like that's crazy to think about.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah, we'll go. Actually, you know what? We'll skip this. We'll go straight to this because. We all have we have the Dodgers winning it, and then sure Padres second, perfect. It's like that. Okay. I think. Like, do you agree? Like, or do you see the Diamondbacks making it?
I don't see. I see maybe the Diamondbacks taking the second instead of the Padres.
Maybe I could see that too.
I see the Diamondbacks being better than. But
we
know
who's going to win it. We know who's going to win it.
The division winners, the Dodgers.
100%. There's no analysis here. Now, this one, I'm going to go Brewers because I think they're the best team. However, I think the Cubs could be sneaky. I think they could possibly get there.
The Cubs, I think, are going to be a close second.
They could get there.
Possibly a wild card team. Who knows? Like I said, way too early to tell. I just
Way too early, but
stick with the division winners
for now. We'll call our shot. We'll say Brewers, and then we'll say Cubs.
Yep.
In the second. Yeah,
I agree.
We'll say that for now. All right. So just recap. Yankees, Orioles, 1 and 2. That's our thing. We go Guardians, Tigers here. You said Mariners. I'll say Astros, but these two are the 1 and 2, interchangeable. Here, we both say Mets, and then
Braves,
the second
Phillies.
place is up for grabs with these two. Brewers,
Cubs.
maybe, or not but like maybe the Cubs take over. So Brewers and Cubs. We're gonna say Brewers though for now, and then obviously these two they're gonna run away for that division. The two of them. Obviously, it's gonna be the Dodgers at 1, but
I think the Diamondbacks over the Padres, to be honest with you, but okay.
all right. So, last topic of the episode is, if you made it this far, thank you for sticking with us. Now this one's a little more subjective to us, being we're going to talk about the Rays, because we know a lot about the Rays, and if you like the Rays, stick around. If you don't follow the Rays, you're not going to like fully get what's going on here.
I think we sort of touched on it earlier when we were doing the tier list. I know I did.
Yeah.
I touched on it a little bit.
We kind of went into more depth on the tier list, but you know what? I'm going to bring up the roster.
Okay. It's going to be an interesting year. Just the environment. Hey, maybe we'll be able to fill up a stadium for once, because Steinbrenner's way smaller.
I think it's like 11,000. I think that's what Steinbrenner is. It's something
smaller,
like that.
So maybe we'll be able to fill up a stadium. But
okay. Now, here's the thing with the Rays. And this is what's very interesting to me, is the pitching rotation. This could very well, if people come back from injury, if everyone comes back from injury and they're at what they were from a couple years ago or last year, this is, I think, the best rotation in baseball. When you look at it, if Taj Bradley goes back to what he was for, what was it, from June to July, I think it was,
that early
right?
year Taj Bradley, he was just...
That was the craziest stretch I think I've ever seen out of the Rays from when I watched.
He played unreal early into the year.
He played so. It wasn't even like, it was like kind of around close to the middle, and then after All-Star break, he just he fell off. He went back to where he was. He went back to where he was. Ryan Pepio. Again, a great pitcher. Towards the end of the year, he was on a tear. He was going crazy. Same with Shane Baz. Those three guys, if they're back to kind of if they were doing what they were at their best last year, oh my God, dude, this rotation is going to be crazy. And the two biggest question marks. So we trade Jeffrey Springs, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the question mark. Drew Rasmussen and Shane McClanahan. This is a bigger question mark, but we'll hit this first. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery, so we have no idea.
Injury.
We have no idea.
Shit. Or
he could fall back. He could not be great, but from what he was a Cy Young. He was the leading Cy Young candidate. Before he got hurt a while ago, or in that 2023 season, he was up there. He was playing so well. Can he get back to that? Who knows? Who knows? Will Tommy John set him back that much to where he kind of just isn't the same, or maybe the Tommy John doesn't really hurt him that much, and we're looking at maybe a Cy Young candidate.
I would hope so, man, because it's just been.
I'm praying, because McClanahan is so good.
Year. It was a long year without him last year, for sure.
I know that rotation to open up the season was just. Oh my God, it was terrible.
It was really
Zach
bad.
Eflin. What was it? Zach Eflin. Zach. What was the? It was like Zach Eflin, Aaron Savale. I think Taj Bradley. It was just Ryan Pepio, and then we for most of the season we had a opener. Ew.
It was.
We gotta stop with the opener stuff, bro. It was terrible.
It was rough.
Oh yeah, Littell. Eventually, I forgot about Littell. That's an interesting one. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with him. Because he's obviously not going to be...
Yeah,
they said
pitching...
Rasmussen's going back to starting, so I don't know what they're going to do with Littell.
The pitching has always been pretty... Like, it wasn't bad last year. It wasn't absolutely horrible. It was just like we were losing games because we couldn't hit. We couldn't hit,
and then the pitching was inconsistent.
It was like we weren't giving up a lot of runs. Like, we weren't giving up 7, 8, 9 runs games, and that's why we were losing. We were giving up, like, 4 runs. We just couldn't answer. Like, there was no
if the Rays
hitting power, nothing.
If the Rays were only giving up, like, 1 to 3 runs, they could most likely either won the game or could have won the game. But anything higher than that, dude, oh my god, the hitting was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just terrible.
We couldn't score more than 4 runs a game. It was tough. It was rough.
So that's the analysis right now, is these guys right here, how good will they be? And if they are amazing, I see why people have said that the Rays could be a 100-win team. I don't see it. However, this is why they would be a 100-win team, is because if this rotation is just unbelievable, like it was back in 2023, at the beginning of 2023, how it was crazy good. If it gets to that level, we could see a crazy turnout from this team.
We could,
because it's
like
if this pitching is just on lockdown, then the offense doesn't even have to do that much.
No, they don't, and they've been to the point where they can't.
Yeah. All right, the bullpen. Horrible bullpen to start the year.
Yeah, just
was terrible. Then it got better. It slowly but surely got better. And we're looking at if he's healthy, one of the best closers in baseball, Pete Fairbanks. Absolute breakout star. Edwin Uceda.
Yeah,
Uceda. He might have been at one point the best reliever in baseball. Like, I remember his ERA at one point was like 0.5. It was crazy.
Yeah, he's good.
Insane. Manuel Rodriguez. Again, another one. Came onto the scene like Uceda and just balled out. He throws very fast. I think his like fastball and his sinker are really good. That's what makes him so good. And then Uceda, so those two are a great duo for the bullpen. Garrett Clevenger, I'd have to look at this. I don't remember how. Yeah, okay. So he was 3.75 ERA. I remember he had that stretch where remember that in the middle of the season where he was like extremely good. He was like the best reliever on our team. And he slowly just like fell off, and then kind of got
like every
worse
one
and
of our
worse.
relievers has had points like that, where they were on like a 4-game stretch where they were just great, and then they just went back to being 3-4 ERA, and it was just bad.
Yeah, like remember Fairbanks at the beginning of the year. Fairbanks was horrible.
Yeah, he was horrible, and then he
now
just kinda...
I don't know if you know why. Like,
well, yeah,
it was that whole thing afterwards.
Yeah, it was rough.
The whole thing with his was
daughter,
either his unborn kid or something like that, which makes sense now why he wasn't playing that great. And then after that, dude, he was locked down for when he was healthy. So yeah, and then next one, Kevin Kelly, again, I think a great mid,
dude. It's just they if they can play fine, they can play fine. It's just
this is mid.
Yes, he's been mid, and
this is mid.
Yes.
Are you dumb?
Yes.
Not .96 whip and a sub 3 ERA is mid?
Maybe they give him more games to play. I don't...
70 innings pitched. What are you on? Okay. What are you on mid?
I feel like I didn't see a lot of him last year, and I mean...
Bro, 70 innings pitched? Oh, dude. Oh, come on, dude. Kevin Kelly's a monster.
I feel like I didn't see him very much, but...
Now, this one. I think this is our future closer. I really think so. And I know you remember him from last year.
He played very, very short.
He did. Obviously only 19 games, 17 innings pitched. They kept favoring Richard Lovelady over this guy, and
that's what it was.
absolutely
that.
blows my mind. This guy has some of the best, some of the best. Or what is it? I think it's like the stat is called stuff. It's just like how much your pitches move and how like the movement mixed with the velocity and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Dude, his arm is actually unreal. If he stays consistent throughout his career, I really think this could be the Rays' future closer. I really believe that. And I don't know if you believe it. I don't know if you, like...
I just need to see more of him, because, like you said, we were...
That's fair, but there is potential. There is potential here for one of the best closers in baseball, potentially. There really is that potential with his arm, I think. All right, the rest of the bullpen... I mean, Mason Montgomery he's very young. Played well when he had opportunity last year. It was towards the end of the year. Obviously, you look at the innings pitched. There's not a lot there. Only 9 innings pitched, but he's another one that could be very, very good for them too. Okay, so just to wrap up the pitching, man, like this is what makes the Rays go round this year is the rotation and the bullpen. Obviously, we're gonna get into the hitting, but if this is on point, the Rays could be scary this year. The Rays could be that sneaky wild card team that if they get to the wild card,
I hope
you don't want to see them in the playoffs.
I hope the pitching,
I feel like this could be
this
team could be like the Tigers of last year, possibly.
I hope they stay consistent and they figure something out because it was tough watch last season for sure.
All right, now down to the worst side of things. Unfortunately, we're looking at this catchers. Wow. The Rays made an offseason signing? No way.
Yeah.
Danny Jansen. I love this move for the Rays. He's not going to win us a World Series. I mean, you look at his stats, it's not great. However, I'll take this over Alex Jackson any day of the week.
Agreed. What was he hitting at one point?
I think it was like
the lowest he got?
It was like .028 or something like that.
The lowest he got was like .3, somewhere in that range.
He at one point was on pace. He was on pace to have the worst average in Major League Baseball history for a season.
Absolutely
Alex Jackson,
horrendous.
Please don't sniff the Rays again. Please don't even come close to us again. I'd never want to see him ever again. Ben Rortvedt, I think this is a great catcher. Three guys in the catcher role. I really think so. I think this is good.
Rorty. I don't mind.
I like if he gets back to what he was doing towards the beginning of the year last year, he's going to be really good. And then this again, and Logan Driscoll is another one that I think he's going to be great if he's given more opportunity. Obviously, the stats don't show it, but look, only 35 at bats. He didn't have much time to develop or anything.
Not at all.
All right, here is the biggest question mark of the Rays is how well will these guys do? Like, we know Yandy's good, we know Brandon Lau's good, but how will Christopher Morel do? How will Caballero do? How will Palacios do? How will Aranda do? This will be interesting. Of those guys, who do you think could be a potential breakout?
The difference between what I want to see and what I know I'll see is I want to see Morel get a little more comfortable this year.
I agree with that.
He had a really, really great start when he first came in. He looked like he was going to have an amazing like debut rest of the season with the team, and then just did nothing. Literally nothing.
Hit a homer his first 2 games.
Yep.
And then just kind of trickled off, just didn't do well.
I mean, Richie and Jose Caballero, they're both good. I mean, they're decently good at defense. They're both pretty good at defense. Palacios had was it Cabby or was it Palacios that had the
stolen bases? It was Caballero. He had the most steals in the AL.
Cabby had the most steals in the AL. I like that. I mean, I think it's good because he's consistently able to get on first base and steal second a lot. I think it puts us in good position if we can get a little bit of
don't bring up the runners in scoring position. Don't bring up runners in scoring position.
If we can get a little bit of consistency with being able to hit the ball, you have Cabby in scoring position we're going to be able to put up runs, and he's in scoring position all the time, and we don't capitalize on it all the time.
Yeah.
Or someone will come out, open up with a double, and then we'll just strike out, fly out. Like, it's the runners in scoring position problem is really bad.
I have just never seen a team struggle that badly with runners in scoring position. Like, they were consistently on a regular night going like 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. It was just terrible. That was just like consistent. Circling
back around to your question, I want to see Morel have a better year. I think Kabi and Palacios both had pretty good years last year. I think as long as they stay kind of on level with what they were playing like last year, I think I'm more than fine with that. I just want to see Morel. He has the bat power. He has the contact.
Here, I wanted to bring this up. Because you look at him. Look, he had I almost positive of qualified hitters. I believe he had the very worst average in Major League. But you look at that, and then you look at a 630 OPS. He had his best season of walking last year. His walk percentage was way up from years prior. He just wasn't. He just in the strike zone. It was not good. It was just not good. So if he can find some rhythm. He's only 25 still. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, this kid, I feel like he's been in the league I think he's literally been in the league now this will be his 4th or 5th season, and he's only 25. Like, it's crazy to think about that.
Yeah.
And also, here's the thing is, I think he's going to be playing the outfield this year. I think so.
Is he on depth chart as outfield, or?
Let's see. There he is.
Yeah, there he is, left field.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, but I wanted to bring up Jonathan Aranda for a second because this kid, he's going to be breaking out soon. I feel like
I was going to say I wanted to highlight
end of the year.
Him too,
look at this. He was
called up and called up and put back down so many times last year. Yep. He was just like injury backup.
Hurt. Yeah, he's hurt.
He was hurt. He was an injury backup. He would come into games late. He would play last 3 innings of the game, and I swear every time he came in, he was hitting the ball.
He had some clutch homers. He was hitting the ball very hard last year. Like his advanced stats were really good last year. And if you keep hitting the ball hard, at some point it's going to pay off. Like and I think that's what's going to happen with him. Is I think he's going to consistently hit the ball hard again, and he'll just slowly just start to get better. All right, now for the other side of the infield. I mean, third base, we already touched on it. We're not going to talk about this at this point. We touched on Caballero. We touched on Caminero. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to really talk about there. This doesn't have him listed, but the Rays did sign Ha-Seong Kim.
Which means Walls is going down.
I don't want to see Taylor Walls in a goddamn Rays uniform ever again in my life. He is the worst. He is the worst hitter I've ever seen in my life besides Alex Jackson. Here's the thing. Just because Taylor Walls' average was higher than Alex Jackson, I don't know if that makes him a better hitter. Because Alex Jackson, at least at some points, he could hit doubles. He could hit a random home run at some times.
Yeah, he did.
Taylor Walls hasn't hit a homer. Honestly, he didn't hit a homer last year. He literally didn't hit a homer last year, and he had 218 at-bats. Oh, no, he had one.
He did.
My bad.
One.
When was that? I don't even remember that. I honestly don't remember that. But, like, look at this. A 183 average, a 282 OBP, which isn't the greatest, but it's not terrible. 530 OPS. Do you know how bad your slugging has to be to have almost a 200 batting average and not even a 600 OPS? Like, Christopher Morel had 190. He was hitting 196. He had a 630 OPS. This guy sucks at hitting the ball. He's a great defender. Don't get me wrong. Great defender.
It's the wall of walls. I mean, I don't know if I'm
the
gonna
Great Wall of
the Great Wall of Taylor. I mean, whatever. Who gives? It's shortstop. Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to be a pretty decent shortstop.
We have Ha-Seong Kim now. Actually, I wonder if because he's hurt right now. I don't know if he's like on the non-roster. He might be. Oh wait, no, never mind.
Xavier Isaacs.
We'll
on
talk
the
about this
non-roster.
in a different episode, though.
Chandler Simpson and they're on the non-roster.
We'll talk about that in a different episode. Is he? He's not on the 40 man. I guess not. I don't know.
Is there like
a? I don't know, but we know. Ha-Seong Kim. I looked up his stats. He wasn't necessarily the greatest last year. I think he had about a 200 average with like a 700 OPS. He was a clutch hitter, very clutch hitter from what I remember. He in late games he had a couple walk-offs. He's had a couple walk-offs in his career. He's very good in clutch situations. And honestly, like I'll take anything over Taylor Walls being our everyday shortstop. It sucks that we're gonna have to wait till May because of his shoulder injury that Ha-Seong Kim has. Yep. But for now, it's fine. Realistically, what I want to see the everyday lineup as is I want Yandy at first, Lau at second, Caballero at short, Caminero at third. That's what I want to see. That's what I want the everyday lineup until Kim comes in.
I was going to say until Kim comes in.
Yeah.
I hope that's what you mean.
Yeah. Left field, touched on these guys already. These two, these could make or break the Rays season this year, to be honest with you. Like, if Richie and Morel figured out, they could, just having that fifth or sixth extra bat, it will just be, like, amazing for us.
Hope to God. Oh, yeah. Man. I can only hope.
Now, here's what gets interesting. You know, we talked about it earlier. We said Yandy, Brandon Lau, Caminero, and Ha-Seong Kim. What we totally forgot about is Johnny DeLuca and Josh Lowe. How did we? He's on my jersey right now. How did we forget about Josh Lowe? I honestly apologize to you, Josh Lowe. He had a down year last year, but here's what's interesting. When he was playing at his best last year, he was really, really good. But what's interesting about Josh is at the beginning of the season last year, he was hurt. He did not start the season last year. He had an oblique strain at the beginning of the season, and he didn't start getting getting playing time until when these got released. That's when he came back, was that Mets series. So he didn't get a full spring training either. I know that. I think because he got injured in spring training. So he just never got his footing. And then there was a couple, when he started playing great, then he got hurt again. So it was an injury-filled year for him. And I think if he comes back to what he was doing in 2023, like you see, like you see his all-time stats, 260 with a 750 OPS. Like, he's a great hitter when he's healthy. So he could definitely... I can't believe... How did we forget about him?
I have no idea.
How did we forget about him? He was like one of the best hitters on the lineup in 2023. We just forgot about him. Johnny DeLuca. Another guy I think could have a breakout season next year, potentially. He started playing very well when we traded a Rosarena because he got more opportunity. And then I don't remember, like, when he would just... His average was really low at one point, and he slowly brought it back up, and then it was just kind of like at the end of the year he was pretty solid. Like, look, last 30 games of the regular season, we're 310 with a 440 slug. Like this, like,
yeah, he played well. He played
pretty good. Like, we're talking about a guy that could definitely with a more opportunity role could definitely be a big spot for the Rays. And again, young guy, 26, got him in the deal with Glads now. I could really see this being a breakout in the outfield for us.
100% agree. 100% agree.
And then, yeah, we talked about Josh Lowe, and then designated hitter could be anybody. So
I'd like to see a Ronda on the DH.
Overall, huh?
I'd like to see a Ronda on the DH, to be honest with you.
I could see that. I think So now what we could do is we'll craft a lineup that we think would be really good for an everyday lineup. So I think undoubtedly our number one, the
Yandy
leadoff
set
hitter is
first.
Yandy. Yandy's going to be leading off. He's going to be playing first baseman. And at the 2 spot, again, I don't think it's a debate. We'll have Brandon Lau at the 2, and he'll be playing second base for an everyday lineup. At the 3 spot, we'll have Caminero in the 3. I think at third base, I don't think that's a debate either. Now for the 4. This is where it gets interesting. Do you put Aranda in the 4? Do you trust Aranda, or do you put Josh Lowe in the 4? Where do you stick? Where do you put Josh Lowe? Where do you put Aranda here? Because these are going to be guys that
Honestly, dude, we change. I don't even know why
I know,
we're trying to
but
craft
we'll craft one that we think should be the
the
everyday lineup.
Rays
That's
change
what the
it
thing.
every day. It's different.
Oh, no, I get it.
It's
I
so
get it.
drastically different all the time. I didn't even understand what they were doing with it last year. Like, what? Didn't Siri end up in the 9 hole for a while, or someone ended up in the 9 hole? It was either Josh Lau or Siri ended up in the 9 hole, and they were just like.
Well,
they were just trying to-
Siri's favorite spot is the 9 hole. He loves the 9
Yeah,
hole.
but it was like they changed it or something. I don't even remember. I can't
know.
remember, but
It's fine.
they were changing it like crazy. But
But
anyways,
again,
whatever.
we're going to craft what we think the everyday lineup should be. What we think. It doesn't, obviously it's not going to happen because the Rays are too unpredictable. But
Yeah.
what we want to see is the everyday lineup. So in the 4, do you want to see Josh Lowe or do you want to see Jonathan Aranda? In the
Aranda
4.
DH.
In the 4?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll have Josh Lowe in the 5. I think that's pretty. That's I think for sure. And then the 6, do you go? So Josh Lowe playing. What does he play? He plays right a lot. He's right fielder. I think yeah.
Yeah.
Now in the 6, I don't think it's a debate. I think it's going to be Johnny DeLuca. I think Johnny DeLuca should be in the 6.
Okay. Playing.
I think center field. That's going to be his everyday position now that series
Yeah.
gone. I think that's what they did with.
Well, because they had
removing
DeLuca playing
Siri.
what, right field for a while too.
Left or right field, something like that. Like,
He's
oh yeah, it was
playing-
left field because of Randy leaving.
That's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then in the 7, we'll have. Ooh, this is difficult now. Oh shit!
think Morel in
Wait,
left
are we
field.
crafting this with? Are we crafting this with Kim or not?
Well, we know. We'll say. Well, before Kim.
You know what?
We know where Kim's gonna go. Is gonna be the shortstop. Whoever we end up putting in the shortstop. So, in the 7, I say Palacios for
Okay.
for the 7 at shortstop.
For left field?
What?
For left, you want to put him in left?
No, I'm saying with the shortstop.
Palacios at short?
Or I meant Kabi.
Caballero. Okay, Caballero at short.
Kabi at
makes sense.
short for the 7, and then
The 7. So we'll do
The
this
8.
without Kim. We'll do this
Morel.
without Kim
Yeah,
for now.
because the 7, well, we can. Kim will probably be a little bit higher
Okay.
up. I would say, but I
Morel
would
in
say
the
Morel
7.
left at the 8.
At the 8, yeah, at the 8 and
And
left.
then
And then Danny
Whoever's playing
Jansen.
catcher, yeah,
Yeah, Danny
Jansen.
Jansen at catcher. All right, so yeah.
They'll probably do the same thing they did last year, where they do 1 and 1. They're gonna have
Okay,
Jansen and
Yandy.
Luka swapping.
So at this is what we think we'll do opening day. This is what we think the opening day lineup should be. Yandy at the 1,
Yep.
Brandon Lau at the 2,
Yep.
Caminero at the 3, Rond at 4, Josh at 5, DeLuca at 6, Kabi at 7, Morel at 8, Danny Jansen at 9. And then
100%
obviously
agree.
we'll have, I assume McClanahan's going to be
Like Lanahan,
opening day. He's going to be
pitcher.
opening day.
Oh my
Hopefully we go to that.
I hope we can make it to that game.
I hope I can make
At
it there.
Steinbrenner opening day. Oh man. Oh man, it's almost here.
Steinbrenner.
That'll be
All
interesting.
right, so
Okay.
long episode again. Hopefully you stuck around to the end.
Yep. Yeah. This and
Lot to
that.
cover. Lot to cover, man. We were supposed to have AJ today. Some things happened. It's fine. He's a Dodger fan, so roast him in the comments because screw him. He's signing everyone. He's taking everyone. But so let us know what you think of the MLB season coming up. Let us know what you think of the Luka trade as well. Totally forgot we
literally
talked about that at the
touched on
beginning.
an hour ago.
So that was crazy. So let us know what you think about that in the comments. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Obviously subscribe. Leave a comment, like the video.
Engage.
Make sure engage for us, please. So let us know what you think of the MLB season coming up. If you're a Rays fan, let us know what you think is going to happen this season. Let us know how you think Cameron Arrow is going to play. And then again, leave us a hot take in the comments. Definitely do that. Leave us your hottest hot take in the comments if you made it this far. So 100%. I'll be interested to read that, and then also World Series winners. Obviously, I think a lot of people are going to guess the Dodgers, but I'll be interested to see if anybody has something else.
If you got somebody else, yeah. If you're going to say the Dodgers, we don't even need to hear it from you. Just if you got anybody other than the Dodgers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said, engage. Follow us everywhere, and we will see you next time. Probably sometime next week or something. You got anything else to add?
I don't have anything. I think that's it. Later, y'all.
All right. Long episode. See you guys.